This podcast is being recorded and produced on Gadigal land.
We pay our respects to the traditional custodians of this country and elders past, present.
We extend our respect to any First Nations, Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people joining us today.
Always was, always will be Aboriginal land. Hello everyone, welcome to Close Friends.
We're taking it back to our YouTube days in this episode. We both put up a question box on our Insta stories, and should we just take turns like last time and just read out question for question?
Yeah, for sure. As you know, I'm currently on tour around the country, so we're pre-recording a couple of things. So I'm sorry that we're doing a lackluster Q&A.
But these are good. I feel like I've got some good questions.
I think when a podcast does a Q&A, I go, fuck off, you lazy shits. But that is us this week. We've run out of ideas. We need to pre-record some of these episodes because I'm off on tour, so you're getting a Q&A, and I hope you like it.
And thanks to everyone for sending in your questions.
If you don't, I don't really care. I asked for juicy stuff.
Okay.
So mine are a bit juicy, but you kick us off.
Okay. Matt, have you ever not liked someone Britt was dating?
Yes. Plenty, actually.
Actually,
a few.
all of them.
Well, there was one that you dated, which was obviously quite public, and he just really never made an effort with me, and I actually got homophobic vibes from him, if I'm honest, but I won't obviously say his name.
Yeah.
There was another one who was also quite public, and I just never really loved his vibe. And then who else? There was another one which we won't talk about. There was
I think that was all. There was three.
I've known.
Yeah.
I think there's no. So there were three awful ones. And then I love AJ, obviously.
Yeah.
Love AJ.
You have to, what do they say?
Never gotten homophobic vibes from AJ.
Oh, good on you, AJ. You got to what do you got to do? Kiss the toads to get the prince or whatever.
Yeah.
Went through 3 toads, got the prince.
Kiss the Roggen frats. Okay. What else you got for me? That was a nice one to start off.
What's a memory you have together that instantly has you both pissing yourselves? I can think of one instance, but it's not funny now that we say it, but it was like...
You had to be there.
Like
Are
nearly...
you about to tell the high kick story?
Yeah, no. Okay, there's 2 instances that are very similar.
Okay.
So, okay, this would have been like 6 years ago when I was living in the townhouse that I started Fate in.
Yeah.
And
it was 3 stories.
It was 3 stories. And so we were on the middle floor. And for some reason, it was on my social media because I was living with my best friend at the time and we were doing high kicks a lot on my Snapchat story, trying to see if we could kick our head. Like, it was this challenge. And... Matt, but there'd be a story somewhere in our archives, but Matt thought he would attempt to do a high kick and hit his knee to his face. That was the whole challenge that we were doing. Matt fucking went for it, and I've got floorboards in this house. His legs gone up, then he has hit the fucking deck so hard on the floor.
I had socks on, so my sock of the leg that was still on the ground,
it's gone whoop.
I kicked the other one up, and the other one slipped from under me.
And then he's hit the ground like the loudest fucking thud you have ever heard. Mind you, then he winded himself.
I couldn't breathe. They're both pissing themselves.
Matt has winded himself on the floor, and then, you know, when you're in a fit of laughter with your friends and then you build on the story and play out a scenario, then we said, picture if you went through the floor and my car was in the garage underneath, and then we were just in hysterics picturing looking down through the floor and Matt was on top of the car. Like, you had to fucking be there.
Like a cartoon.
3 floors.
But honestly, going down 140 kilos, hitting the bloody deck like that, I wouldn't be surprised if I did go through the bloody floor. Like, it was a solid crack.
Yeah.
I thought I'd broken my fucking back, I'll tell you. And they're pissing themselves and I'm going, oh, an ambulance. I can't breathe.
Winded
I
himself.
thought my ribs are broken. It's all gone wrong. Oh, my God.
And then I think the other similar memory was when I broke up with one of those boyfriends that we don't speak about, and then I moved far away, and you came and stayed with me one night, and you did something. I don't know if it was a kick or like a jump, and then you land on my bed and completely snapped it. And it was again a fucking crack. Do you remember that? Do you remember that?
Oh my god, yes.
But it was like a shit bed from Fantastic Furniture.
Yeah.
So fair.
But what did I do? I think I literally just
Jumped.
belly flopped on it or
Yeah.
something.
And it was
something
just like,
stupid.
whee!
I was
Crack.
like, yay, sleepover! I jumped on the bed. It's cracked
Broken.
underneath
We're
me.
on the ground.
The slats are... We've gone straight through. We're lying on the ground in a rubble of wood.
But I think they're my two funniest memories. But fuck, we've had so many. There'd be so many more, Matt, but I just can't think. Just all of them.
I've got one for you that says, what would you leave each other in your will? I'm just going to put it out there. I don't think I'd be leaving you anything. What have I got to give, darling? Do you want my 40 cents that's in my purse from today? Like,
I would leave you AJ
oh, that's nice.
because you love him.
Yeah.
And I'd maybe leave you some money.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, actually, you know what? Speaking of that,
Yeah.
I need to get my will done.
Yeah, right.
Do you have a will?
No.
Well, you need to get it done.
Yeah, I know.
Because we can't just keep thinking we're fucking invincible. And I've been saying to AJ for years, especially because our business is growing and there's a lot of like assets. I actually need to get a will done.
Yeah.
I'll put you on there. How much you want?
Thank you. How much? What's the budget, honey? How much you got? Give me as much as you can, you know.
Okay.
I'll talk really nicely about you once you're gone, like if that's the case.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And obviously your money will go to me, but I'll help other people with it. You know, I'll give a dollar here, dollar there. Anyway, what would I leave for you in my will? What do I have that you would want? My Samsung frame TV.
Yeah, I love those.
You wouldn't want my car.
And you know what? Maybe you could also have my Instagram account.
Nah.
Turn it into something else.
No, because I think we'd have it in memoriam.
Yeah,
and then I'd just
true.
share old videos and stuff like that. And every day
You could expose me for who I really am. If I was dead, then just release all of the footage.
Honey, I don't think there's anything else I'm left to expose you with. I think this podcast has exposed you enough. Do you guys ever talk about your sex lives with each other? I feel like we used to, but not anymore. No.
Fuck asked that.
Oh, I've got so many threesomes, yes or no?
No, not for me.
No, not for me either. I mean, I have, though. I've done... Well, anyway, we won't get into that.
This is close friends, though, so...
This is close. Yeah, so true.
I had someone...
I was going to say, you know...
Oh, sorry, go.
No, that's fine.
I had two people... I'm changing the topic, but
Okay.
if you've got more to say...
No, that's fine. I don't think I should talk
Okay.
about...
I had two people ask, would we ever launch a business together? No, for me.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Don't mix friends and business. This is as close to business as we'll get.
Yeah,
this
for
podcast.
sure. For sure. Someone asked who is the worst dressed person in the room, and you actually dressed really nicely today, and I put on
Oh, thanks.
not much, so that's not good. What's the worst unsolicited fan encounter you've ever had?
I've already told my story.
Oh, which one was it? Was
The
it
one recently
the
that
cookies?
showed
Is that
up at the
probably the worst
warehouse?
unsolicited one?
I would say so. What about you?
Mine goes back years. I was on tour around the country, and it was one of those big YouTube tours that we do, and I usually host them. We were in another city, so I was staying at a hotel, and I had invited another YouTuber to my hotel that night, to my room, and they were like, be there soon, just going to jump in the shower and stuff like that. And then I heard a knock at the door a few minutes later, and I was like, geez, that was a quick shower, you know. Didn't look in the peephole or anything, and opened the front door, and it was like a fan who I had seen earlier that day and the night before, like at the hotel, at the show, came to the meet and greet, blah, blah, blah. They were quite full on, but you know, everyone gets excited. I feel like this is also many years ago where like screaming in my face was just like a normal thing.
Yeah, I feel like fans
people
were
don't do
different
that.
back then.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone's become, well, obviously our following has grown up with us kind of thing.
Yeah.
Whereas back in the day it was really,
Yeah, like they
you know.
just scream in your face and shake and cry and go.
I will say someone did that recently to April and I when we were on the way back from Sydney. She's probably not listening. I hope she isn't. But fucking hell. We went through, well, it's now Hungry Jack's. It's at the Twin Servos on the way back to Newcastle. And this girl in the drive-thru just flipped the fuck out. Like, bless. She was flapping her arms and jumping up and down. Then April and I ever since have called her Flappy Bird. But she was just like jumping up and down.
God.
And like she didn't say anything. It was just like stress. And I just like grabbed the bag and kept driving. And like I felt so awkward. Like I love when people say hello, but this just fucking was another level.
Yeah.
Calm your farm.
Yeah.
I'm not that fucking big of a deal at all, trust me.
It used to be like that. Everyone was quite, you know, emotional, and I get it, whatever, that's fine. But even I saw a TikTok of Anna Poole doing a meet and greet at, you know, the Pacific Fair
Yes.
up in Queensland,
And when she came down the stairs, oh, the crowd went mild. Like
yeah, they're
it was
different fans these days.
It was
I
like
feel.
woo, woo. Whereas, like, I remember when your Michael Finch and Shani Grimman did the Pack Fair thing,
Oh, it was
and they were
screaming.
screaming, you
Yeah.
know. So I think people just can't be bothered anymore. But you go to a concert, and like the thing's the same as well. I'm like, why aren't people screaming? You know what I mean? Anyway, so he came into my room, barged in the room, came through, and I was kind of like, again, at this point in my life, like it was so long ago that I didn't really have a backbone or like the balls to be like, get out. Today, honey,
Get the
you wouldn't even
fuck
make
out.
it past the threshold. Sorry.
How
Well,
can
today
you
I would have
get
checked the
there?
peephole. But anyway, he came in, was like, oh my God, like, how are you loving the city? Do you want me to be your tour guide? Blah, 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 all the rest of it. He's like, looking at all my things, my makeup's out, ready, you know, all the, from the, getting ready for the show earlier that day. Oh, you were so good at the show, blah, blah. Thank you so much. Haha. I'm actually like getting ready. I'm in a robe, by the way. Like, I'm getting ready for someone to come over. So like, gonna have to, you know, get you to leave. And he comes up and he's like, putting his finger up my arm, and he's like, how long until they get here? And I'm going, no, this is
Get the fuck
this
out.
is not happening. This is not happening. But I didn't have any fucking balls to say that. So I had to just like stall and be like, yeah. Like these days I'd be like, don't fucking touch me and get out of my room. But back then I was just kind of like, oh, haha, lol, like this is so funny. Anyway, we better wrap this up. I'm not in the mood for any of that. I would love to, but I'm not in the mood. I absolutely wouldn't love to. There's no way in a million years I'd be doing it. But he was very in the mood. He was trying to whirl, and I was like, darling.
Is he still a fan today?
I'm going to
not.
say yes, but I have muted and restricted him. So, because, you know, it got a little much. This is many years ago now, and I hope he's well. But yeah, he was trying to fuck, and I was like, I'm not, we can't do this. Anyway.
Okay.
Next.
Here's a question. How would 10 years ago Brit feel if she met today's Matt and vice versa? If we met today, I personally think we would like each other, but I think at the start we wouldn't be sure where we stood with each other. Because I feel like we're like similar strong personalities. But I reckon we would get along
I reckon we get along too.
straight away.
So if 10 year ago me met you today.
Yeah, that bit doesn't make sense. Is she just saying if we met today? Like...
Yeah, if we met today,
And we didn't know each other.
but we were the person we were 10 years ago.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm
It doesn't make
confused.
sense. Let's just say the scenarios. If we met
If we
today,
met each other today.
I think we would like each other.
Oh, I couldn't be bothered forming a friendship, if I'm honest. I'm at the
Matt's
point where
done
I've
with
got too
making
many
friends.
friends. I'm done with making friends. I
What if
can't
I really
be
wanted to
bothered.
be your friend? If I
Oh,
said,
you know what though?
"Please."
You know what though? I will be honest with you. Would our friendship just be so transactional because
It
of where
could
we
be,
are? We wouldn't
yeah.
actually care about one another. We wouldn't actually develop much of a bond, because there are like people in this industry who I love with my whole heart, and I'm like, they're a very good friend of mine, but like also
Would we be friends if we didn't have the...
exactly
Yeah.
would we be friends if we didn't? You know what? There are definitely people like the close girls, the Kates, the Rileys, the Jazz, the Stars.
They're your
Yes.
friends, yeah.
But I feel like there are some people in the realm that if we didn't have the same job, we wouldn't interact or ever
Interesting.
cross paths.
Whereas
I wouldn't
Matt and I
worry
have
about
been bonding before we were anybody's.
Yeah, for sure.
And to be honest, I still feel like we're anybody's.
Someone asked, where's the wildest place you've done the deed? Mine was under a church. Next. Sorry.
I think mine was under a
Well,
tree.
you go to church, you're on your knees, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, next. Where was yours?
Under a tree.
Under a tree. That's actually quite romantic.
Back in my, 18-year-old days.
Yeah, that's nice.
Very
though.
romantic, yeah.
Better than under a church, doll. Someone said, please explain the time you were held hostage. I don't know if we have time to get into that today.
Save it for another
Yeah,
episode.
and that's not some joke, because I think I've avoided talking about it for so long that people just go, it's not a real story, but it definitely is. And did you know that the gang that held me hostage are still there to this day? One of my friends went to Japan not long ago, and they're still on the street trying to hold people hostage.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Well, I mean, when the police showed up and they had nothing but a fucking notebook, I said, where's your gun, doll? Like, are we not ready to shoot these what's going on? Anyway... If you go to Harajuku, all I'll say on that story is if you go to Harajuku, you walk down the main streets of Harajuku, and someone comes up to you and says, come to my shop. I've got a good deal. Just down this back alley round the corner, through
Don't go.
through a hole in the wall, past a rug hanging up as a curtain. you got to say, I'm okay, thanks, and I'll go. But I was 15 years old and I didn't know any better, all right? Anyway,
Someone said, would you organise a live show / boozy brunch situation for the scrollers? I would love that.
wouldn't do a boozy brunch, but I'd love a live show.
A night boozy show.
Yeah, like come and get drunk at the show, sure.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I have learnt that I can't drink alcohol before I go on stage.
Yeah.
So all my shows, because the first time I did shows, I had a couple drinks to, calm the nerves. I was a sweaty mess the first time. The next night I didn't have alcohol. Then the next night I thought I'll just take it easy and have one vodka Red Bull to get my spirits up. And then I was really sweaty again. And so now I don't. I go on absolutely sober, do the show, and then I have a fucking bottle or two of Savvy B afterwards.
I've got so many people asking, have we ever had a massive fight or falling out? But
No.
I feel like we've talked about this before.
Yeah, I think we have, but we can quickly glaze over it. We never had a fight or a falling out, but there was one time where we didn't talk to each other for a while.
Why?
I can't remember, but it was your fault. As in, like, you were the one that cut off contact. But we never really knew why. Well,
Was it got to do with?
I think we just grew apart. It did have to do with that person.
Yeah.
Because you had cut someone out of your life, and I think they were still in my life at the time. And I've eventually cut them off. But anyway, I remember we hadn't spoken for so long, like maybe 8 or 9 months. And then I heard you on an ad on the radio when I was in Newcastle.
Was this like 10 years ago?
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
And then I called you. And you answered. And I was like, hey, it's me. We haven't spoken in so long, but I just heard you on an ad on the radio. That's so random. What have you been doing? And then everything was just back to normal again. But there was a time where, we didn't talk for ages. But I think it was just like we've grown apart. You had issues with like one of my friends and I was just caught in the middle and you were just protecting your peace. But we never had like a fight.
Yeah. There you go.
Speak about a time you met someone famous and they were a see you next Tuesday in real life.
No one for me and no one for you.
No. Well,
What about this?
depends if you listen to the raw audio of this podcast.
For how long did Matt overdraw his lips?
I've never overdrawn. Oh, it's because you put up the photo of me with Miranda
that's
Sings.
right.
I was doing the Miranda Sings lips. I
I'm
never
like,
overdrew my
What are you
lips.
talking about?
I actually always tried to have thin lips for some reason. I don't know why.
You used to?
I'd always try and underdraw them.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
I don't know why I thought thin lips were in.
Oh, have we already answered this on the podcast before? What's our Subway order?
Probably not, but mine is an Italian herbs and cheese footlong with the cheese bacon ranch, chicken cheese bacon ranch. I don't know, it's got a name and I can't even remember. I haven't had Subway in so long.
Neither.
And then I also sometimes get the ranch wrap as well.
I feel like we have talked about this before because I remember saying to you, why do we get one Subway order and then stick with that for our whole life?
So
Like that rings a
true.
bell. Anyway, if you need to know, mine's Italian herbs and cheese, footlong, chicken fillet, cheddar cheese, lettuce, carrot, capsicum, salt and pepper, mayo.
Nice.
Fucking yum.
All right, we probably have time for one more each. So have you got any last
Okay.
ones there? Someone said, how does Brit make money?
I get paid a fucking salary.
Yeah, it says interested how she does this if not taking a cut from Fate.
This is where people get confused. I don't take any profits from Fate. All the
So
profits.
your salary is not a profit, obviously.
No, I just get paid like a pay slip every week, like the rest of our staff.
Which is quite what's the word? Conservative.
Oh, it's minimal.
Yeah. But I don't think people expect that. I think people think you're paying yourself $10,000 a week, which is not the case. You're
no.
paying yourself a regular, very minimal wage.
Yeah, it's standard.
And you don't take any profit. So
No
that's,
profits. Yeah, a
that's
lot of
how.
business owners take profits like every quarter or every financial year, but we have never taken any profits. April fucking gets it all.
The last one I want to ask is, does your partner know how many sexual partners you've had?
Nah.
Neither.
AJ and I've never spoke about that.
We've never been interested in
I
knowing
did
about
used
that. And
to,
darling, I wouldn't even know the fucking number. Once the list got to 86, I thought, let's just stop. Let's just stop counting.
I will say, I'm not going to say who it was, but I used to date a guy back in the day, and like back in the day, and he could not handle the fact that I had ever been with anyone before him, and he would like call me a slut and like couldn't believe that I'd ever been with anyone before him, would like have huge fights with me over it.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Men, we hate them.
All men.
Yeah.
But that's a whole
Did
other
you used
story.
to have a notes app in your phone?
I did when I was like
Yeah.
18.
You have your notes app with all the names of
Yeah.
people. But unfortunately, once my list, I kept forgetting to add some people to the list. And then, of course, some I didn't even know their fucking names. So they were just like guy with beard and black hair from Ark. And then, so you just,
Play.
one day you just give up on the fucking list. That's all I'll say on that. Anyway, we've probably exposed ourselves a little too much. in this episode. Thanks for listening. If you liked this Q&A, give this video a big thumbs up and make sure you subscribe. We upload
Leave a
new
comment
episodes
down below.
on our YouTube channel every Tuesday and Friday here.
I kind of miss saying that.
Yeah, I know.
Make sure you subscribe, hit the thumbs up. The fact that there was ever a dislike button is soul destroying. Like, remember you would upload a video and within 30 seconds there's like 20 dislikes. It's like you've got those haters that are subscribed just to fucking dislike. Like as soon as a video would go up. Wonder where they are now.
I don't know, but look at us.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Close Friends. We'll be back on Tuesday with our main ep. And that's about it.
Email us.
Yeah.
If you have any questions that you'd really
Or
dying
stories
for us to answer.
that you want to share, something that you want us to share, got a hilarious story.
Email us because...
Yes. Yeah, and you got to make sure it's true and it's not defamatory.
Yeah. We did have a really good story that the legal team would not let us talk about. It was about a big celebrity.
Yeah, shout out to that girl that sent that in. We actually... Georgia, we recorded your whole episode and then we got
the
knocked
legal
back.
team said absolutely not.
We couldn't risk getting sued.
Yeah. Which would have been a great story arc, though, wouldn't it? I would love for our podcast to get sued, Because I think it falls on Nova anyway. We've got nothing to do with
like
it.
it, but
Yeah. Anyway, love yous. Have a good weekend. Bye.